This man just declared war on 2 entire divisions and nobody's talking about what that actually means. Arman Tsarukyan isn't just another fighter looking for his shot. He's a walking nightmare with the physical tools to dismantle anyone at 155 or 145 pounds, the technical brilliance to make elite fighters look amateur, and something way more dangerous than all of that. He's got that ice-cold mental warfare that breaks opponents before they even step in the cage. When he demolished Justin Gaethje, that wasn't just a win. That was a statement. That was Arman telling the entire lightweight division that their time is up.
Justin Gaethje or Paddy Pimblett for the interim champion, but he didn't. They didn't choose him. They chose Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje beat Paddy Pimblett, so by law, according to the Westland Gangster at RCW 3-10-16-12-4, the interim champion should be fighting Ilia Topuria next, and that's the fight that needs to happen. And then after that...
But here's where it gets absolutely wild. Tsarukyan isn't sitting around waiting for the UFC to hand him anything. He's specifically targeting the winner of Gaethje versus Topuria, and he's doing it in a way that's pure psychological warfare. Think about the audacity of that move. While other contenders are begging for opportunities, Arman's out here claiming he's the ultimate test for whoever survives that war. He's not asking for the top spot. He's already claiming it. And you know what's crazy? He's backing up every word with the kind of training intensity that would break most fighters. This isn't some social media hype job. This is a calculated takeover.
Раз, вернулся. Сумасшедшая прокачка пресса. Новое дело.
Я как-нибудь другой раз попробую.
Я с турником на «вы». Уважение. Да. Вот отжимания получше.
Boom, boom, boom. He puts his arm in. Here, boom, 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 and then whap. You can do that, Ken.
No?
Yes, for the right training program, we get you right where you need to be.
Yeah.
Okay. You want some water?
No, brother, I just started.
Okay. 40, okay? Give me some respect. Give Uncle.
Is he the hottest guy right now? I don't see anybody controlling the media as well as Tsarukyan. Tsarukyan is getting more headlines and doing more.
Now listen, you might see all the headlines and the hype around Tsarukyan and think it's just smart marketing. Maybe you figure it's all persona, all show, but you're missing the bigger picture here. What you're witnessing is a fighter who's building an entire empire of anticipation around himself. He's not just talking trash for clicks. He's creating a burden so heavy, so impossible to ignore, that the UFC has no choice but to give him what he wants. Because here's the harsh reality about that octagon. It doesn't care about your social media followers or how entertaining your interviews are. Once that cage door locks, all the hype in the world won't save you if you can't back it up. And that's exactly why Arman's approach is so terrifying. He's betting everything on his ability to deliver when it matters most.
Yeah, this guy's eating. It looks fun. It looks really fun. But Tsarukyan has now made headlines. Tsarukyan works with Coach Cal. That's a piece of the story because Tsarukyan came out yesterday and said, I'm the #1 contender. I am.
So here's the million-dollar question that's keeping everyone up at night. Can he actually validate every single bold claim with the kind of savage performance that reshapes an entire division? Because that's the line right there. That's what separates the guys who flame out after one big moment from the fighters who build dynasties. Arman's not just promising to win fights. He's promising to dominate in a way that makes everyone else irrelevant. And honestly, the way he's been training, the way he's been talking, the way he's been moving through this division, it's starting to look less like confidence and more like prophecy.
Like if somebody took him up on that offer, if Volkanovski or Lopez calls him out and says, you're next, and the UFC goes for him, and I'm just sharing for you, like, once it's said, it becomes a thing. And so he laid out as part of his statement, right? And one of the reasons I think he is.
But get this, you need to understand something crucial about how Tsarukyan operates. When he talks about moving between 155 and 145 pounds, he's not presenting options like he's ordering off a menu. This is psychological warfare at the highest level. He's literally daring the universe to test him. He's calling his shot in a way that forces destiny itself to respond. This isn't a fighter hoping for the best. This is a man who believes he can bend reality to his will through pure force of determination. And you know what's wild? Based on everything we've seen, he might actually be right.
Everything down and calories in, calories out, and monitors your workouts. And I'm just sharing for you that. What do you think of that? I mean, this kind of went wild online. My own phone.
Here's what separates the pretenders from the true killers in this sport. A champion's mindset isn't just about being good inside the cage. It's about making things happen outside of it. Tsarukyan isn't requesting fights. He's orchestrating them. He's not waiting for opportunities. He's creating them through sheer force of will and strategic brilliance. While other fighters are hoping their managers can get them good matchups, Arman's out here playing chess on a level that most people can't even comprehend. He's thinking 5 moves ahead, setting up scenarios where the UFC has no choice but to give him exactly what he wants.
Lopez has his hands full with Volkanovski. I'm just sharing with you. You know, when you go out and you make some claim like I'm going to drop to a different weight class and I'm going to fight for a title. Okay, great. Can you get a headline? Is that something that people believe and that people are interested in? Check and check. He had those boxes. A next step, but it's a much higher step, is to get the guy with the...
And trust me, this approach demonstrates something way deeper than just high fight IQ. This is about having the soul of a true warrior, that primal drive to not just compete, but to completely dominate. Tsarukyan isn't just preparing his body for war. He's training his mind to create the exact fights he wants, when he wants them. That's real fight intelligence in action. He's weaponizing his own ambition in a way that forces the entire lightweight division to revolve around him. Because here's the truth about champions that most people miss. They don't wait for opportunity to knock. They kick the door down and take what's theirs.
Like, wow, Tsarukyan. And it's really fun to take a guy and put him in a different weight class. And you can go either way. You can move him up, you can move him down. It's a really...
The noise Tsarukyan is making right now isn't just trash talk for the sake of getting attention. This is a calculated assault on the entire power structure of 2 weight classes. He's not just getting his body ready for battle. He's conditioning his mind to produce the exact scenarios he needs to become champion. And that's when you know you're dealing with a different breed of fighter. He's generating so much undeniable hype, so much pressure, that the UFC is going to have no choice but to put a title in front of him. This isn't just a fighter in training mode. This is a man in full conquest mode for his entire career.
What you think about that, because in many ways, does it solve a problem? Sure it does. We acknowledge in this sport, Arman is the #1 contender. We acknowledge in this sport that Arman should be fighting for a world title. So how are we going to do it? Just move down to 145. Well, but we also acknowledge that Lerone Murphy should be fighting for a title. We acknowledge that
You think the divisions are jammed? You're missing the point entirely. Arman Tsarukyan.
You're hearing whispers about division changes, right? About Arman potentially moving to featherweight. Let me tell you something. That's not just strategic planning. That's a declaration of war. Tsarukyan isn't asking for a chance. He's setting fires under champions in 2 different weight classes, forcing them to acknowledge his presence. This isn't a suggestion or a hope. This is an ultimatum delivered with the kind of confidence that only comes from knowing you can back up every word. When a fighter starts talking about conquering multiple divisions, that's not desperation. That's the mindset of someone who views every belt as their property.
Could be fighting for a title. So as jammed up as they are at 55 with 3 potential options, if Arman goes to 45, now they're jammed up with 3 potential options. I'm just wondering, like, what do you think about that? Do you believe that a bigger guy in Arman, do you believe if he cuts down, he therefore takes precedent? Do you believe that? Because when Ilia Topuria, who...
And here's the kicker that most people are missing. The real genius isn't just in his fighting ability. It's in his ability to create opportunities where none existed before. That's where true champions separate themselves from everyone else. While contenders wait for their turn, champions force their way to the front of the line. Tsarukyan has that iron resolve, that unwavering commitment to conquer his own limitations long before he even steps foot in the cage. He's winning the mental war before the physical battle even begins.
That's the comeback you're about to witness.
that just said, hey, listen, you haven't proved yourself here yet. Khabib himself said, we're not going to fight him. You're speaking for Islam. This is before Islam had left the way. He said, we're not going to fight this guy. Come and do something at 55. Do anything, but do it at 55, then call me. So what do you think? We're putting everything in reverse. Like yesterday when Armand said it, this got a great reception. Everybody loved it. Ariel loved it. I loved it. James Madison loved it. I mean, I'm just sharing.
Forget the noise, forget the callouts. The octagon doesn't respect your mouth, it respects your proof at 155. You think you can just skip the line in the lightweight division? That's a fool.
But here's what you need to understand about what makes Arman so dangerous. He's not just another lightweight contender trying to work his way up the rankings. He's a fundamental problem for the entire division's established order. When he talks about dropping to 145 pounds, that's not casual strategy discussion. That's him forcing the hand of champions and organizations across 2 weight classes. He's creating scenarios where elite fighters have to respond to him, where the entire sport has to acknowledge his presence. That's the kind of power that only comes from having absolute confidence in your ability to destroy anyone they put in front of you.
But he's now created another dialogue. So the way this works is we've got to exhaust all options. And I like Armand's approach, by the way, if you want me to critique it.
Here's the brutal truth that separates contenders from champions. Contenders wait for opportunities to come to them. Champions take what they want when they want it. Look at Sarakian right now. He's deep in war mode, grinding through training sessions that would break most fighters, all for a comeback that feels less like a hope and more like an inevitability. This isn't a man asking for handouts or hoping someone gives him a chance. This is a fighter actively forging his own destiny through blood, sweat, and strategic brilliance. His comeback isn't about just winning fights. It's about tearing down every barrier between him and what he believes is rightfully his.
I want to fight for a championship. I've never liked that approach more than a specific guy. Than a specific put your finger in the chest of Ilia Topuria. Oh, by the way, he happens to be champion. It happens to also be a championship opportunity. Boy, I hadn't even really thought of that. I just want to fight him. I find that personal grudge approach to be stronger. But Arman's in a
Because elite contenders aren't just fighters, they're forces of nature. They're walking disasters ready to demolish anyone stupid enough to stand in their path. And that's exactly what Sarakian has become. This isn't some casual journey back to relevance. This is a severe, unforgiving test of everyone else's ability to survive his rise to power. Real champions don't just endure these kinds of challenges. They crave them. They live for the pressure, the danger, the sheer intensity of high-stakes warfare. And if you can't handle that level of competition, you were never meant for the throne anyway.
than Ilia Topuria, just by example. I mean, I feel like this guy's red hot. He stumbled into something, by the way, with this feast.
Okay, pay attention. Ignore the trivial. Cut the
Heard it from the source. Arman Tsarukyan isn't.
Let me share something crucial about Arman's approach that most people are missing. When he talks about switching divisions, when he makes these calculated moves, he's not just picking fights. He's systematically destroying obstacles one by one. This isn't about numbers on a scale or weight class technicalities. This is about a man who's in full war mode, driven enough to cut his body down to 145 pounds if that's what it takes to claim his destiny. That willingness to endure the agony of extreme weight cuts, to reshape his entire physical being for a shot at gold, that's what separates good fighters from legends. He's creating a truth so undeniable, so powerful, that he's forcing the entire sport to recognize his dominance.
Jam at 155, fine, I'll just go to 45 and fight for the belt. And I don't know how much he meant it, but...
And get this, every single punch he throws in training, every grueling minute of preparation, every sacrifice he makes before that title shot, that's not just getting ready for a fight. That's destiny being molded in real time. True contenders don't just hope for the best. They craft themselves into undeniable forces through sheer determination and relentless work. Arman isn't just preparing for a return to the cage. He's building an irrefutable case, step by brutal step, that he deserves to be at the absolute top of this sport.
Doing a great job, he's in front of the media. But, and there is a but, I've never liked the idea.
That's the genuine champion mindset right there. It's not about just competing or showing up when you're supposed to. It's about earning your place through actions that can't be argued with or dismissed. You can hear that hunting instinct radiating from everything he does. True champions don't chase belts like they're shiny trophies. They hunt opponents. They crave the challenge of breaking another fighter's will, of seeing elite competition crumble under the pressure of their presence. Armin's not playing games or putting on shows. He's waging psychological warfare on anyone who thinks they can stand in his way. That calm, calculated demeanor you see from him, that's not indifference or casual confidence. That's an apex predator in his natural state. When a fighter stops caring about outcomes and focuses solely on demolishing whatever's in front of him, that's when he becomes inevitable. Sarakian is training not just to win fights, but to become an inescapable force of nature. He's in war mode, and that means total annihilation for anyone who steps into the cage with him. This is about potential dominance in 2 divisions, and let me tell you, this isn't some polite request for a championship opportunity. This is a cold, calculated declaration from a man who views every belt, regardless of weight class, as his personal property. His willingness to cut down to 145 pounds isn't desperation. It's the drive of a true hunter, that ruthless resolve to subject his body to extreme punishment for any pathway to undisputed glory. That's what separates good fighters from great ones. It's supreme combat intelligence combined with a warrior's will that refuses to be stopped by any barrier or obstacle. He's not waiting for doors to open. He's preparing to shatter every wall between him and championship gold. So there you have it. Armin Sarakian isn't just another contender working his way up the rankings. He's a systematic destroyer who's declared war on 2 entire divisions, and he's got the skills, the mindset, and the strategic brilliance to back up every bold claim he's made. This isn't about hope or luck or getting the right opportunities. This is about a fighter who's decided that championship gold belongs to him, and he's willing to reshape his entire body and dominate elite competition to prove it. The question isn't whether he can do it. The question is whether anyone can stop him. What do you think? Is Sarakian about to take over the lightweight division, or is all this confidence going to backfire when he faces elite competition? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button if this breakdown opened your eyes to what's really happening, and subscribe with notifications on because this takeover is just getting started. I'll see you in the next one. The scary part about all this? We're not even talking about his most dangerous weapon yet. Everyone's focused on his striking improvements, his wrestling base, his mental warfare tactics. But there's something way more terrifying brewing underneath all of that. Armin Sarakian has developed what I can only describe as championship timing, not just in the cage, but in how he's orchestrating his entire career trajectory. Watch how he's positioning himself right now. He's not just training harder than everyone else. He's timing his peak to coincide with the exact moment when both divisions are most vulnerable to a takeover. Think about the landscape he's walking into. The lightweight division is in complete chaos. You've got aging champions, inconsistent contenders, and a power vacuum that's begging for someone with his skill set to fill it. Meanwhile, featherweight is dealing with its own identity crisis. And here comes Armin, perfectly positioned to exploit both situations simultaneously. That's not luck. That's the kind of strategic brilliance that separates temporary champions from dynasty builders. He's reading the entire sport like a chess master, positioning himself to strike when maximum damage can be inflicted. But here's what's really keeping me up at night. The way Sarakian talks about these upcoming fights, there's zero doubt in his voice. None. And that's either the confidence of a man who knows something we don't, or it's the delusion of someone about to get brutally humbled. The problem is, everything in his track record suggests it's the former. When he destroyed Geithch, that wasn't just good technique. That was a fighter operating on a completely different level of preparation and execution. He didn't just win that fight. He made it look easy against someone who's terrorized elite competition for years. You want to know what separates Armin from every other contender making noise right now? He's not trying to convince anyone of anything. He's not selling wolf tickets or hyping up fights for social media engagement. Every word that comes out of his mouth sounds like he's reading from a script that's already been written. Like he's seen the future, and he's just letting us know what's about to happen. That kind of certainty is either completely insane or absolutely terrifying. And based on what we've witnessed inside that cage, I'm leaning toward terrifying. Here's the part that nobody's talking about. Sarakian's camp isn't just preparing him for individual fights. They're building a machine designed for sustained dominance across multiple weight classes. The conditioning required to move between 155 and 145 pounds while maintaining elite performance levels. That's not normal human capability. That's the kind of physical and mental conditioning that takes years to develop. And he's been quietly building this foundation, while everyone else was focused on short-term victories and immediate gratification. The real genius of his approach becomes clear when you look at the bigger picture. While other fighters are locked into single weight classes, dealing with the same opponents over and over, Arman's creating unlimited opportunities for himself. If the lightweight division gets stale, he drops to featherweight. If politics get in the way of a title shot, he forces their hand by becoming a problem in 2 divisions simultaneously. That's not just smart career management. That's revolutionary thinking that could change how elite fighters approach their entire careers. And let's talk about something that's flying completely under the radar: the psychological impact he's having on current champions and top contenders. When a fighter like Tsarukyan starts talking about conquering multiple divisions, that plants seeds of doubt in everyone else's mind. Suddenly, champions aren't just defending against their current division's threats. They're looking over their shoulders at a guy who might drop down or move up just to take what's theirs. That kind of mental pressure can destroy a fighter's confidence long before they ever share the cage. But here's where it gets absolutely diabolical. Arman isn't just threatening to take over these divisions. He's doing it with the kind of calm confidence that suggests he's already won these fights in his head 1,000 times. Watch his interviews, his training footage, the way he carries himself. There's no desperation, no anxiety, no doubt. Just the quiet certainty of a man who's already seen how this story ends. That level of mental preparation is what separates good fighters from unstoppable forces of nature. The scary reality is that we might be witnessing the early stages of something unprecedented in modern MMA. A fighter who doesn't just dominate one weight class, but systematically conquers multiple divisions through pure technical superiority and strategic brilliance. The last time we saw someone with this kind of cross-divisional ambition backed up by legitimate skills, they became legends. And Tsarukyan's skill set might be even more complete than what we've seen before. Here's what's really wild about his training approach. Most fighters prepare for specific opponents, specific styles, specific game plans. Arman's preparing for war itself. He's building a fighting system that's designed to adapt and overcome any challenge, regardless of weight class or opponent. That kind of comprehensive preparation takes an obsessive level of dedication that most fighters simply don't possess. He's not just getting ready for his next fight. He's preparing to dominate the sport for the next decade.